Right, good morning. And when you are here with us on this live stream, can you please key in your name and index number so that I can know that you are here and you can register your attendance for this YouTube live lesson. Once a sizable number of students are online, and I will start the lesson. Today we're going to be talking about chapter 8 from Fiela's Child. And in summary, this chapter outlines the moments when Elias and Barta had been informed that a certain boy had been found in the kloof, and that boy could be their long lost son, Lucas, who was lost about 9 years ago when he was 3 years old. So the forester came to the Banats Island where Elias and Barta were living and informed them of this. And the magistrate would like to call upon the mother of the lost child, the mother of Lucas, who is of course Barta, to see whether she can identify the boy found in Long Kloof, which is Benjamin, of course. We know this from chapter 3, when the census officers went down to Wulakral at the Komoti's household, and then they found Benjamin, a white boy living with a colored family. So they suspect that Benjamin is Lucas, and now the magistrate is trying to ascertain whether it is true, right, that Benjamin is in fact Lucas. So if you're joining us this morning for this live lesson, can you please key in your name and index number so that we can register your attendance for this lesson. Okay, so we're starting to see some people keying in their name and index number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, welcome to this lesson. I'm going to start very soon, as long as we have a sizable number of students who have keyed in and I know are attending this lesson. We're going to be looking at chapter 8 today, so please prepare your novel, right? Those of you are finding some trouble, I'm gonna get you. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Amberlyn, for providing the link to this video. So quickly come and tune in to this live lesson. So far, I have about 6 people attending. There are much more than that. There are about 25 of you or 24 of you. So we're gonna wait a few more minutes and see whether we can get more. Oh, okay. I see Aisha is here with us. Irlia. Lauren Ashley. Inshira is here. Wei En, Abigail. Okay, so get ready your novel. We'll be looking at the novel closely. Fatima. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That's about half of you, 13. Where's the other half? Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. A few more and then we will start. Okay, so in this chapter, you'll be looking very closely at two characters. Obviously, this is happening in starting from Banat's Island and making their way to Naisna, okay, the village where the magistrate is. The magistrate has called for both Benjamin and Bartha to come to his courtroom so that the matter can be resolved as to whether or not Benjamin that was found in the Wolverkraal in to answer this question. Do you believe that Benjamin is Lucas? Right? Can you key into the chat? Do you believe that Benjamin is Lucas? Or could Benjamin be Lucas? Is there a possibility that Benjamin could be Lucas? Is it a strong possibility or is it a remote possibility? I wish to see you participate in this lesson through the chat. Okay? No, Grace doesn't believe so. Okay, good. What about the rest of you? No? 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 No, with open eyes. So all of you are saying there's no possibility. Remote, thank you, Gabriella. Is it Gabriella? Gab. Right, remote, yes. So why do you say so? Okay. We say so because even Elias in this chapter feels the same way, right? Look, good gracious Bharata, can't you walk a bit faster? So what I like about this novel is that there's a lot of instances when there is something's happening, but then Matthew will give a flashback, right? Or she will write in a flashback, or insert a flashback, and it makes us go into the mind of the character in a way, right? Because the character is the one thinking about the events that have passed, right? Thinking about why they are doing what they are doing. Okay, so when you're reading something like that, you kind of like your thinks about what has happened, right? And so you are also immersed into the mind of the character. You join into the mind of the character. Okay, so I think maybe we might be seeing a bit of a few flashbacks here, or one or two. I'm 10. Okay, so the meeting was at 10. But it took, if you read this, right? If you've read this, it takes a half a day to walk. That's half a day, 6 hours, man. Yeah, half a day to walk from where they live to the forest. 6 hours walk. Can you imagine, right? So they have to come out really early. 10. You go back how long is that? 4 a.m., right? Really, he thought to himself, since the day the forester had come with the news that they had found the child, okay, the forester, you notice the forester had come with the news that they had found the child. Now, doesn't that sound a bit strange? All of us think that it is quite remote, a possibility that Benjamin could be Lucas. But the forester, the government officials, the magistrate even, right, thinks that it is highly possible. Now, this is very ironic, isn't it? Right? It's strange, right? It's something that you wouldn't expect. Okay? Bata had completely lost her wits. Obviously, you know, if you're a mother who's lost her son, 3-year-old son, 9 years ago, and believed him to be dead, and suddenly someone says, hey, your son could be alive, right? Obviously, it will affect you quite devastatingly, quite deeply, you know, in the way that she says Bata was completely lost her wits, right? Like lost her mind, you know, she couldn't think straight. Lord knew the news had been a shock, right? So, again, here it implies that it is remote. The possibility of Benjamin being Lucas is absolutely remote, because it implies here the news had been a shock. Nobody could believe it, right? But you came around again and your mind started working again, but apparently not Bartas. Okay? I mean, Elias started to believe that it could be possible. Now, why does Elias start to believe that it could be possible? The answer lies further down, right? For Barta, she knew. I think she knew. I don't know. I have a feeling she knew that her son was already dead, and it was, you know, to be reunited with another boy who she knew wouldn't be Lucas. You know, it's going to be something quite traumatizing for her, right? To realize if, in fact, the boy isn't Lucas, that would be quite devastating. Okay? He told the forester that it would be better if he went to the magistrate alone, and as Barta never really went to the village. Now, in this chapter, like I've said, you'll be learning about closely about two characters, Barta and Elias, and here you'll find out more about Barta. Barta never really went to the village. Okay? She never liked going to the village, you know. For Bata to appear before the magistrate was much the same as being called upon to appear before the throne. It was something quite, for her, it was something quite, what do you call that, daunting. Yeah, extremely daunting, extremely. Okay? But the forester insisted that it was Bata the magistrate wanted in court. Him too, but particularly Bata. Right? Why Barta? Right? Because the magistrate wants the mother to identify Benjamin as Lucas. And we know, after reading the book, after reading the whole book, that we know by now that Benjamin is not Lucas, that all of this was a conspiracy, right? So this gives you a hint into the conspiracy. Oops, what happened? Right? Because if Barta identifies Benjamin as Lucas, then the magistrate would have a concrete proof, isn't it? To remove Benjamin from the Komoti's household. Right? Because if it's anybody else, then it's not going to be very convincing. So he really wanted Barta to come. He wanted them to set out the day before. Now, Elias wanted to walk at a less ungodly hour, right? He didn't want to wake up at 4 a.m. He wanted to set out the day before and then sleep over at Naisna, right? And just now we were talking about how Bata never really went to the village. Okay. This one is telling about Bata's character. Okay. Uh, Here and this part also. Okay, for them to be at the magistrates by 10, they had to start out at 4 o'clock in the morning, and for all you knew, you might walk straight into an elephant at the time of the night. Okay, so we know Elias is by now paranoid about elephants. But Bharata would rather be trampled by an elephant than sleep in the village, right? No, Elias, I don't sleep on a stranger's bed. The village is not my place. I don't know the people. So what does this tell you? Okay, can then somebody, one of you or a few of you, describe Bharata, her character. I don't sleep on a stranger's bed, right? I don't know the people. What kind of person is she? Okay. I'm going to continue reading because there's a latency that when you get this, and then by the time you send the answer to me, it'll be about a minute. So please chime in with the answer. What kind of person is Bharata based on this evidence? Bharata never went to the village. She felt very daunting to face the magistrate, and then she doesn't want to sleep in a stranger's bed. She doesn't like to meet with people that she doesn't know. What kind of person is she? Right? Please give me your answer. But I told you that my cousin Stefan, the one that left the forest years ago, works in the village at the place where some of the wood is dipped into the creosote. Okay, I went to look up about this. This is a preservative for wood, in case you want to know. Okay, so what? No answer? Can I have some answers from you? I give you a clue. Okay, the word starts with T. This is how you describe Bharata's character. Starts with T, right? Meek. Thank you, Grace Lee. Meek. Hey Google, what's the meaning of meek? Not meat lah. Meek, M-E-E-K.
The flesh of an animal, typically a mammal or bird, as food. The flesh of
not meat, meek. I'm talking about meek. Timid, yeah, that's right. Quiet, gentle, easily imposed on, submissive, right? Your answer is not wrong, okay, but not here. This is not showing how meek she is. It's showing how timid she is. Not troublesome, Grace Lynn. Okay, she's timid. She's easily afraid. You're right, because what do we know is the meaning? What is timid? The root word of timid is the root word of intimidation. Intimidation. Someone is easily intimidated, right? Okay, meek is something else. It's something that has a more positive connotation, right? Elsewhere, you can see her being meek, being submissive, being easily imposed on. That is when Elias is trying to assert his authority, assert his on her. But here, it's not the time to describe her as meek. It's more like timid, right? And she's quite introverted, don't you think so? Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so but Elias is trying to convince her. He says that he knows someone who can get them a place to sleep, but she would not, right? Okay. She's very insistent on this, and it had been a nuisance getting up at that time of the night and starting out in the cold by the footpath as far as the sled path. At the sled path, the deep walls where the gravel road started. Had it not been for the lantern, they would not have been able to see their hands before them. It was so dark. Now, I want to pause here for a moment and kind of like get you to mark this page, because there was a question before about what are the difficulties of living in the kloof and the forest. Okay, I think this is a very good Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, it's here. 2018 paper. If you look at this question right here, explore the ways in which Matthew vividly conveys the harshness of life in the Nysa forest and in the long kloof. So this part here could be used to answer that first half of the question, right? Of course, this is not the only thing that you must mention. There's so much, the big feet that are always on the prowl, okay, and other things that are, talking about the forest. Long kloof also, right? So I think this is a good part. And when you look at, maybe we can write down here, 2018 question 2B. Okay, right. You should have this, okay, given to you soon, right? This is the what we call the practice questions compilation for Fiela's child, right? So let's move on. He was far from being at ease about what had happened back in Stingwood Kloof. Who says the bastards were not still waiting for somewhere for him? Again, this is talking about the elephants. It was said that if an elephant had his eye on you, he kept it on you. Not that they could have an eye on him. They could have not seen who had sawn the tree. What chapter is this? Anybody can tell me? What chapter does this refer to? Who had sawn the tree? Chapter? Which chapter is the one that he was trying to kill an elephant? Okay, waiting for your answer. Bata was falling behind again. You must hurry. So, as you can see, right? Okay, all this is happening inside Elias's mind. So he's again flashing back, right, to moments before this journey, before they were taking on this journey, and he comes back here. Okay, Bata was falling behind again. You must hurry, woman. Nearer they got to the village, the more slowly she walked. Okay, I can tell so you can actually tell she really doesn't want to go, because the nearer that they got to the village, the more slowly she walked. This again proves how reluctant she was. Yeah. Okay, which proves how timid she is, right? Chapter 5, yay, Frog, you got it right. Lauren, Ashley, 5, Ella, correct. 5, chapter 5, you're right. Absolutely right. Chapter 5, well done. Did you look up the book, or was it knowledge that you already had? Okay, very good. Elias, suppose it's Lucas. It's not Lucas. This is a very important part of the chapter, mind you. Bata is starting to ask questions. Elias, suppose it's not Lucas. It was the 100th time she had asked. Okay, remember what I told you about how it would be really, really devastating for her to realize that the child is not hers. It will be like reliving the moment that she lost Lucas all over again, right? It will be something quite terrible. Now, which actually reminds us of this. If it is devastating here, right, for Bharata to lose a child, and of course here could mean twice, right? Must we spare a thought for Fiela then? Okay, what about Fiela? Right? How is it that the census officers and the magistrate can so easily pry Benjamin out of her hands? Right? And even if Benjamin is not Fiela's, but which is it's true, Benjamin is her handchild. Even if, if Benjamin is given over to the Venurius family. Isn't it going to be really, really difficult for Fiela to handle that, right? Can't we spare a thought for her? Why aren't they sparing a thought for her? Is it because of the color of her skin, right? Okay, so that's an interesting thing to think about, right? But that is why we're on our way to the village, Bata, to go and see if it's him. Now, again, there is this idea that Elias is excited by this, right? He kind of like thinks it's possible. Why? Because he wants it to happen. Okay, it seems like he wants it to be true, right? To be Benjamin, to be Lucas, right? It seems like Elias is wants it to be true. Why? I think we're gonna know why. The first thing you do is to stand stock still, and just look him over carefully. I'll have a look with you. The magistrate will allow us enough time to hear. After 9 years that they had found a child that might be yours, was not news that you could take lightly. And if it was the child they had found, only the Lord in heaven could know how he got over the mountain. So here again, we come back to the idea, right? Or to the fact that even Elias has doubts, right? Which again highlights the irony, isn't it? It highlights the irony, okay, of what the magistrate is trying to do. Or what are his true motives? Okay, what is the magistrate's motives? Because it's almost impossible to think that, Benjamin could be Lucas. He himself had been there only once in his life when he went with Jeremiah I. So this is not important. It's just talking about how he and one of the woodcutters went to sell wood direct, have a license to cut. Okay, these are just some details about the politics of the whole situation. There's a lot of politics, right? It's all got to do with money, of course. If the woodcutters, right, can sell directly. Okay, I mean, this is like in Australia. I think if I go to Australia, there are like farmers markets and all this, where the farmers they set up these markets, and then they sell their goods directly to the people. These are the goods, these are the produce that they have grown and they've harvested from their own farms, and then so all the profits go to the farmers, right? They can sell it at the price that they want. Say you sell it to supermarket sells it at $5, and the farmers can also sell it at $5. But what happens is the supermarket is the middleman, and these wood sellers, right, are middlemen, right? They don't do any hard work. All they do is buy over the wood and sell it again, right? So this is the thing about middlemen, right? A middleman's sometimes is looked at in a quite a negative view, right? I mean, there are of course situations when they are necessary to have, but I think a lot of the times, if you can actually sell your products and your goods directly to the buyers, that will be much better. Okay, cut out the middleman, because they hardly do anything, right? Okay, so alright, after it, what is it? Okay, so we're gonna skip this part and go on here. Okay, remember we're talking about how Elias would be excited by the idea of having Benjamin turn out to be Lucas. Can anybody tell me why, before we go on to that part, why is Elias, why does Elias want this to happen? Why does Elias want Benjamin to be Lucas? Who can tell me? As I read this for you. Afterwards, Elias used to say that people thought the long cliff as being on the other side of the mountain, but it would be nearer the truth to say that it was on the other side of the wilderness of mountain peaks. Right? Again, we're talking about the difficulties of living in this kind of terrain. That's why he had told Bata to stay calm and wait until they had seen the child. But if it turned out that it was their child, right? So who has the answer? Come on. So he has one more kid to earn money from. Yay! You're right. He wants to use him for money. Sarah, spell Maneh properly. Okay, this is the answer, right? It would be quite a thing to have 3 sons suddenly, right? Bata had not got pregnant again after Lucas had disappeared. Old Aunt Gertie reckoned it was the shock that did it. He wants more children. Why does he want more children? Because he wants them to work for him. Okay, if it was Lucas, he didn't want to put him into a woodcutter's team straight away. William and Christopher. Okay, now, next question. If it was Lucas, if Benjamin was Lucas, why doesn't Elias want Lucas to become a woodcutter? Why does Elias want him to work with him making beams? Why? Who knows the answer? Okay. So again, we're analyzing the character of Barta and now Elias. What kind of person is Elias? Okay, there are 2 questions to answer there. Why does he want Lucas to work at the beams, and why does he want Benjamin to be Lucas? Okay, what kind of person is he? So we're looking at character here, right? What is Elias's character? Okay, and what about the beams? This is something to do with character. So there's one. Okay, 2 different aspects of Elias's character here. Lucas at the beams. Why? Why Lucas at the beams? Working with him. Okay, and why does he want Benjamin really to be Lucas? Okay, number 1 and number 2. Right? What are the answers? Come on, people. Okay, I'll wait for your answers to come in. I'll just carry on reading. You must hurry up, Barta. Again, it goes back and forth, right? As to into his state of mind and the journey. It's actually quite interesting to go in and out, of the present situation and then back into Elias's mind. Okay, you must hurry up. Thank you, Aisha, for the answer. You must hurry up, Barta. He called over his shoulder. Elias, won't you go ahead and tell the magistrate I can't make it? I think I'm going to faint. This is quite amusing, lah. Okay, the fact that Barta is so shy, right? She really doesn't want to go. She was jittery because the village was getting nearer. He thought to himself, he said, it's because your stomach's empty, Barta. We can have something to eat before we enter the village. Magistrate will be very upset if I turn up alone, and he's the one man on earth you mustn't anger. Now, what does this tell you about the status of the magistrate? Okay, in other words, the law. Okay, a lot of people are afraid of the magistrate. Yeah, of course, Bata is one of them. Even Elias, right? Okay, and this is important because the status of the magistrate is extremely significant here in Naisna and in this part of South Africa. Okay. Nobody's answered the question for this. What kind of person is Elias? Come on. One starts with G and the other starts with L. What's the answer? Why does he want Lucas to work with him on the beams? It starts with L. What does he want Benjamin to be Lucas? It starts with G. Right, we know that he wants the kid to earn money for him, like what Yu Yang said. What is this? Greedy, money-minded, greedy, yes. Well done. Okay, what about L? What kind of person is he? Lazy, correct. Okay. One of the famous lines. Luck. What? No. Lazy. One of the famous lines, I think, in is knowing that I must appear before him. It's not our way of doing things. I know, Bharata, but this is not like appearing before a magistrate because you're in trouble. You can go by yourself. You'll be able to recognize the child without me. I'll hide somewhere here and wait for you. Okay? It's no use talking, Bharata. You will just have to go through with it. Right? One thing about... So he's trying to convince Bharata, obviously. One thing about the woodcutters, even if he still sometimes got the feeling that they looked down on him, he had to admit that they stood by you when darkness descended on your house. Right? Now, Elias has a kind of a self-esteem issue with the woodcutters. Right? He thinks they look down on him. Okay? I think it's just the fact that he is very low self-esteem and he's very, very paranoid. Right? But this proves that the society of woodcutters, the people who live on Banat's Island, is a very close-knit society. They always support each other. Remember the time when Lucas got lost in chapter 1? Right? When Lucas got lost, everybody came in to lend in a hand, to even if they had to like come back, 4 hours from cutting wood, they all gathered together and helped to look for Lucas. If it's not him, okay, this is the kicker, right? If it's not him, then you tell His Honor, we go home, we bury it at the time that he disappeared. He speaks about it as if it's so easy, right? Okay, he's not the mother. He doesn't know how Bharata feels. How could a child that small have made it to the long kloof? Again, we're talking about irony here. What are the true motives of this whole endeavor? Okay, how did he get through the ravines and creeks? The forest was dry that year, Bharata. The water was low. They could have brought the child to the forest. I could have looked him over there. Stop grumbling, Bharata. That was not how the magistrate willed it. And anyway, you know how scared the village people are of coming into the forest. Okay. We're kind of running out of time, so we're going to go through quickly. They don't like coming further than the edge. Today we do as the magistrate wants, because his will is the law. This again, okay, you must take note of this. Again, we're talking about how can I say this? How absolute the magistrate almost has absolute power. Okay, and this is very, very dangerous when somebody has absolute power like that, to determine people's lives and stuff. Okay, you have a way of mumbling when you're scared or bashful. Speak up when he asks you something. I want him to get a good impression of us. One never knows when you will have to appear before him again. Okay, so this is Elias's insecurities, talking about how he might be caught for catching, trapping meat. Right? Okay, that's not important. Okay. He guessed it to be nearly 10 o'clock when they came to the crossroads. Right? Okay. So don't look so alarmed. If it's not the child, it's not the child. If it's him, then it is. His eyes were blue like Nina. She knows him very well. Now this is going to be important in chapter 9. Right? I need you to read chapter 9. Also, continue reading. Right? And see how is it that Bharata came to point Lucas out. Did she look into his eyes? She knows his eyes were blue. Right? You'll know him if it's him. Come. Right? And this talks about, Mali's shoes were too big. She had to wear shoes to attend court. With every step she gave, they flapped on her feet. Right? Bharata could not go walking up to the magistrate, something like that. And then what did Elias do? Elias took some grass from the side of the road and stuffed it into the toe of his shoe. Also not the dumbest person in the room. Okay? He's actually quite creative. In the way he comes up with plans and all this. Okay, even though we know that they are quite malicious. Okay, so it brings me to right the end of our lesson here. I hope you've learned a thing or two about the two characters that we looked at, Bharata and Elias. Okay, and of course the whole idea is that it's very ironic that the authorities, that the government officers are pursuing this possibility, no matter how remote and how impossible it sounds, right? We know this why? Because there is a conspiracy, isn't it? There is a conspiracy to what? To remove Benjamin from the Komotis household. And what is the theme, right? What is the message behind um, this idea, right? What is the theme? Okay, I want you to answer this in the Google form that you will be asked to do later on, right? There are 3 questions, 3 to 1. Okay, what is the theme here, right? That is raised. What is the theme raised here? Why is it that they want to remove Benjamin from the Commodities household so much? Okay, so with this, I thank you for joining us for this lesson. I will be taking note of people who have not attended. Okay, you may leave the session, but in the meantime, I'm going to go through and scroll through and take down the attendance. So once again, thank you, and I will see you again next week. If you have any questions, please you can send me a text. Okay, if there's anything here that's unclear, right? Of course, you can watch this video again because once it's streamed, it's recorded. Okay, so just keep the link to the video. You can watch it again and see if you missed out anything. That's the wonderful thing of learning non-linear using videos, right? Thank you. Bye. Attendance. Who is here? Who is not here? Let's see. Aisha is here. Anya is here. Yu Yang is here. Amberlyn is here. Kiara is here. Lian. Gabriela is here. Aisha is here. Irlia is here. Lauren Ashley is here. Wei En is here. And Shira is here. Wei En is here. Fatima is here. Grace is here. Ella is here. Rini is here. Was here. Chris Lee is here. Who is Frog? Ashley. Sarah is here. Xiaohui is here. Bye. Fasmina is here. Asina is not here. Darwisha is not here. Finn is not here. Chao Jin Yi is not here. Bye. Bye. Go to your next lesson at 10:15. Bye. Where's my daughter? My daughter is at the back. Say hi to my daughter. Darwisha, I'm here. Sure, Chingy. Just now never say. Never write your attendance. Asina not here. Asina, where are you? I don't see you. Finn and Asina not here. Truancy. Jialat.
You still doing what?
No. Finish. Okay, I'm going to end the live stream.